What's going on, everybody? I'm Marc Lobliner alongside Matt Marano. We got an extra special guest today. Who are we with?
Dang, I always forget this part.
Hardest question.
Brandon,
Hardest question.
Brandon Curry. Yes.
Brandon Curry, the 15th Mr. Olympia. How's the off season treating you, man?
You know, it's good to be home, living regular life, but you know, you kind of go home and you kind of got to adjust to being home. It's a different kind of experience when you're away for a while. You come home and you don't know where anything is. You're so out of the loop. Everybody has a routine, and you just got to kind of catch up and figure it out. And sometimes that causes you to get in a little trouble when you're not on the normal routine. But I picked it up. I've gotten in a rhythm, and I'm doing my part, getting the kids to school and stuff, and doing my thing. So yeah, it's good being home. It's good being home, relaxing, and no pressure as of right now.
You dropped right into competitive soccer season, man.
Yeah, that's the good part, though. That's the good part.
That's so much fun.
Yeah, that's definitely the good part. I was always doing really well, and I missed American football season. So this is good. This is good for me to see some good sports, and Zoe doing a good job, and it, she's a junior year, so the college thing is college recruits.
Oh, they're starting to look at it.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for her. So it's really good. So and she's really serious. She actually, I found out the other day, she's paying for her own trainer.
Really?
Yeah. My wife said, yeah, she's. I'm like, what? What is she? But she wants to do her part. So.
Yeah. My Katie and Cammie and Preston were able to stay and watch her game the other day. That was cool. They're like, because the day before we had to go to another game, but yeah, the cool thing is there's another soccer dad I can talk to on the field.
She was so bummed after that game. She took a hard. They got scored on, and she was, in the position in the wrong place at one time. So she took it really hard. Like she came off the, women are interesting. She came off the field, and I'm thinking the game's over, and she's good, and all of a sudden she just bust out in tears. I'm like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then she's trying to explain it away, but she's tough on herself. She's really tough on herself, but she didn't do a bad job. She did a decent job. So.
You know what? That's the thing about playing defense. Cammie moved to center back this year. You saw her play there. And defense, and what position did you play in football?
I played defense. So I played corner. I played strong safety, and I did play a little offense too. But yeah, defense, I'm more defense oriented myself personally. So
about defense, like it's you versus, if you make one step, now they're attacking the goal, you're trying to prevent them. The center back, right back, left back, it's the most vulnerable position next to keeper because it's you, a ball, and another person. If you have a bad move, if you make one wrong move, you give up a goal. So it's a lot of stress. So, the thing is you gotta win more than you lose.
Yeah, it's a communication because she plays defender. So it's all about communication. So if one player miscommunicates, and the goalie's not a champion goalie, then you got a goal on you. Yeah. So that's the thing she's frustrated sometimes with is, she's a communicator and she wants to be everybody on the same page. And, at young girls' ages, sometimes they don't all, they're not all as serious as one another are. I'm sure Cammie's experienced that as well.
It's been, they had hopefully none of the parents listen. They had a coup within the team. Like it was like their own little insurrection, man. And so some of the girls were not going hard. And they happen to be the girls who might be captains, right? Not confirming. And Cammie's like, what are you doing? We're the top team. And so they complained to the coach. They were like, Cammie's going too hard in practice. And then Cammie went to the coach, was like, yeah, this is a top team. If we're going to win, we got to train like we play. Who do you think the coach sided with? The coach is like, you probably want to listen to her. Right. So but it's part our fault. Because they're watching us winning. Like, we got to win, whether it's in business or whatever. And so our kids, whether and we're very laid back. I'm very laid back. I want my kids to enjoy life. Right. But they see us sacrificing and you going to Kuwait and you're so driven on your goal that they automatically absorb that. They absorb that energy. They absorb that trait. And that's what's going to make them great. But it's also what's going to kind of, make things a little bit different for us to raise them.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's good to see them want to push themselves and excel. And it's always another game. You're not going to stay down until the next game. Then you're right back up again. So yeah, she's handling it, man. She's really serious, and it's good to see. It's good to see because you do a parenting thing. You hope you're doing the right thing, and then you never know, and then they confirm some of some of that good parenting every once in a while.
They're good kids. Your kids are such good kids, man. That's all that matters. Like, are they making the right choice?
Right.
Are they doing the right things? And they are. Like, Max is a national champ.
Yeah, Max is national champion. He's man, they're taking the game up a second level. Their team is going to be a club team pretty much next year.
Wow.
They're not going to do middle school because they believe it's a waste of time. They're going to keep the team together and go for another national championship. But they already started. They're working with a defensive coach. Was it? Oh, man, I wish I could pull up the name real quick. I'll think of it in a minute. But they specialty players are basically working on defense with the backs, defensive backs and linebackers. So they got a specialty coach that's basically teaching them how to run reverse routes.
Wow.
Right now at this age, at middle school age, and it's really cool to see because I didn't learn that kind of stuff till I was in college. So I've been watching them practice it. Yesterday, I'm thinking, man, if I would have learned that at that age, man, it would have been incredible. So basically, it's going to be natural when it comes to defense and defending. He plays linebacker, but if he goes up another level and wants to play defensive back, he's learning all the same skills. Depends on what he's going to play later on in life. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, and it's all about skills. Some coaches, they coach condition. But this guy, he's just all about skills. His name is Victor, but he's all about skill. He wants them to do everything perfect, everything right. And he says, if they're not tired when they leave here, that's fine because I'm teaching them skills. I'm teaching them something they can carry on. He said another coach can condition them, So it's really cool to see that at that age they're learning what I learned in college.
That's a step ahead.
Yeah.
That takes them next level. And if you're able to teach those traits, those skills at a young age, it just puts them in a much better level. Same with the training and everything that we try and give our children. It's a little bit different. And on the other note, now 015, we actually got Exalt expansion. All those are blown up. We got the new product coming out next week.
Yeah, Happy Guts.
Happy Guts. So the cool thing about Happy Guts, it has something called Core Biome in it, which is a phenomenal ingredient for digestion, for gut health, for immunity, and no other company in the industry has it. So that's what's really exciting to be a pioneer, like a new company like this coming out with an ingredient that is so advanced that works on a different level as just probiotics, which of course we have in there as well. But it's cool that the brand's going to innovate.
Right.
And we're not just going to be like, here's some probiotics.
Right. And, digestion is very important in the sport, all the protein stuff that we're eating and consuming, and be able to digest efficiently and then be hungry again is a game changer. So, I'm really looking forward to, just really, really hearing back the feedback from this product, and the guys that are serious about using it, serious about getting the calories in, serious about their nutrition and their gut health.
It's not just about eating; it's about being able to eat.
Right, being able.
And if you're digesting properly, you're going to be able to eat more.
Right.
What is it?
Get
It's
more
not
fuel
what
in
you eat; it's what you absorb.
Yeah, what you absorb, exactly.
That's it. So that's huge. So Happy Guts, and then the next week we'll be launching the Big Hydro.
Yeah. Big Hydro I'm waiting on that one myself. Those flavors.
You ran out.
Yeah, the flavors are gonna be awesome. Awesome flavors.
What I like about Big Hydro is you got the Velocitol in there.
Velocitol, it increases protein synthesis.
Double the protein.
Yeah.
Double. So, if your protein synthesis rate is at a certain level, just multiply it by 2.
Right, by 2.
And it's got human studies. It's fantastic. Think about the hydrolysate. It's a very fast-acting protein, perfect for pre- and post-workout use. And the flavors are cool because if you want something refreshing and delicious and light, there's the gummy bear flavor, which we couldn't call it gummy bear because we don't need to be sued.
Gummy candy.
Gummy candy. Yeah. And then there's, of course, the red velvet, which is a nice, pre-workout, I'm going with gummy.
You got to correct that. It's the cereal milk, right? Cereal milk.
It's cereal milk. It's not gummy
cereal milk.
candy.
Yeah, you're right.
Cereal milk and
red velvet.
Yeah.
But cereal milk is kind of.
Cereal milk is what I'm going to eat actual cereal with. So it's like the bottom of a cereal bowl. So I will be eating my cereal with my cereal milk protein.
It's the cool thing. What I'll do is I'll have the pre-workout, the nice refreshing cereal milk. Yeah. Post-workout, nice, beautiful, just a nice satiating red velvet. That's good. It's really good. Next level flavors. So 015's off the chain. We got more. We got a new bar flavor coming in the next few months, few weeks.
Flavor for you chocolate lovers out there. It's very, 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 very good ad, I'd say. I tasted it, and it's a really, really good taste when you're eating chocolate and you need. Oh, I need something milk or something to drink with it. It's rich chocolate.
I remember we were at the Airbnb, and I handed you one of them. Like, have you tried this yet? You're like, You took a bite. You're like, I need something to drink.
You need a glass of milk. Yeah. So other than that, you're training again.
Yeah,
getting into that.
Yeah, I'm getting into training again. I didn't want to jump in too early, but I got in and I started doing a little cardio in the morning first, get myself, getting some of that extra eating off because you're just enjoying a little bit of everything. But
yeah,
and then I wanted to come in and just make sure everything's healthy, everything's feeling good. Of course, I'm working with the new X, making sure all the muscles are firing really, really good, and that's been a very, very interesting experience. I found I don't have to do quite as much as in the gym if I'm warming up with that. But the training is going very good. I'm feeling good. My strength is, steadily climbing, but I'm kind of holding myself back because I know I have a long road ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys, they go gung ho, and then you have really nowhere to go from there. So trying to take it easy, trying to keep my volume down a little bit for now, and going to compound on that as the year progresses. But right now, it's been good. It's been good to be in my own gym. I came back before the Olympia, and that was actually the first time I trained in the Murfreesboro gym.
Oh yeah, that was your first time.
Yeah, that
was
my first time. So being in there, training every day, seeing the gym members, and kind of mingling a little bit, it's been really good. Really good to be back in the gym with no pressure right now, anyway.
Yeah, and you were so do you think there'll be an Arnold Classic this year? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I'm hearing the Arnold Classic will be probably in September. Yeah, so that means that if the late Arnold Classic in September, and then I'm hearing that the Olympia will be in October.
Now, wow!
You could literally just roll from one show to the other.
With them being that close, why not? Why not go at everybody's throat? 2 shows in the year and do it again. Do it like 2019, except with less break in between. It makes it much easier.
Have you ever competed that close together? 3-4 weeks.
I have done that. Like I said, it's much easier than doing like it used to be, the Arnold in March and then the Olympia in September. That just sucked because you have typically, I had 2 different metabolisms for each show.
Yeah.
Because you don't really have a real off season in between.
There's no recovery time.
Right, exactly. And your metabolism doesn't recover from the dieting phase. You're not getting your calories up really high to drop them back down. So you don't have that window to work with the calorie ranges. So you kind of sucking down the calories even more and doing more cardio just to get where you need to be. That's my experience. Anyway.
It's a lot more forced than like a natural progression.
A lot
and
more
going
forced.
through
I mean,
it.
I guess some guys could push it. They would do more with the the protocol scenario. But we'd like to play it safe. We don't want to push my body too hard and burn out too quick. So it was rough, and I think I didn't know how rough it was until I heard an interview with Ronnie, and when he did the Arnold and Olympia. And I think that Arnold, they said that was the best. That was the best Ronnie. One of the best Ronnies ever, but the Olympia, that was one of the worst Ronnies ever, and he still won. But Ronnie, from his own mouth, said that prep, he almost felt like he almost died that prep because it was so hard for him to make the transition from the Arnold, where he looked probably one of his best of all time, to coming in Olympia and trying to win that title again. But he was able to do it, but it's still not easy.
Yeah. So if you're looking at September, October, that obviously gives you 2 shows back to back, real quick. I don't know if you've heard or you can say, do you know where these might be taking place?
Well,
or is it,
considering the state of the U.S., we're opening up a little bit, but I think for safety reasons, it looks like all roads point to Florida. Okay. It's not been official yet, but I know, they had a lot of events at the Orlando Convention Center last year, I think from nationals as well. So I think even the Arnold, because I don't think Columbus is going to open up to where they're safe enough to plan it there. So I think they're planning in Orlando as well, from what I've heard.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That would be crazy seeing the Arnold somewhere other than Columbus.
Well, we that if just seeing that place and being there, that place definitely can do the Arnold. No problem. Because, we didn't use any of that convention center.
it was literally just a hallway.
Right.
It was a national level show. That's the crowd level.
Right.
As far as we were the only, it was us and 2 other supplement brands.
You had the curtains and you just look and it's like, wow, this could be so much bigger than it is right now.
Right. And then they have the whole hall across the way, and that's in front of the fountains. It's so much space that they can use for that event.
It is. So when you did shows in the past and you did the back-to-back, do you think you looked better at the first or the second for the back-to-back shows? Did you figure that out? Were you able to peak for both? Or did you feel that for one show you were better than the other show?
Well, I'm looking at my 2017 season. I think I did the New Zealand, and then the very next week we went right into Australia.
Yeah.
And both shows, I think I peaked pretty well. I think I peaked pretty well, held on everything pretty well. Let's see. I'm trying to think. The only time I haven't been able to hold my peak is when I've had multiple shows even before that, and I tried to do it. I think that year I qualified in the Lou Ferrigno show in Palm Springs, and then I turned around and tried to do what was it? Was it San Marino? I think, and man, by the San Marino, I was so done for the year, and I already got my qualification. I just didn't have the motivation to actually. And neither was my prep in San Marino. My coach wasn't there. I didn't have a kitchen and all the kind of amenities that I normally would have. So that prep went to crap back-to-back weeks. But by that time, I was burnt out. The mentality wasn't there. But when it comes to like doing the Arnold and then turn around and doing Olympia, I'll have the fire for that, no problem. So I think we'll be able to peak or
it's different
both shows or make the adjustments that we need for the next show.
Yeah.
It's my coach. You know, we don't like something, he's going to make the adjustment. If it's not broke, we're not going to try to do anything crazy to fix it.
Yeah, that's because that'd be my thing is, can you peak twice? Within a certain amount of time. And for me, I always look better the second show, but depending on how long the season was. But I look pretty bad for both shows. Either way, it's like polishing a turd at that point,
Smearing it everywhere.
So, Matt, we have some questions.
Yes, we do.
So we actually opened this up to Instagram, a bunch of people, and just wanted to, whatever y'all want answered, we'll answer it and keep it lively, or else we're just coming up with topics and just talking. But what do people want to have answered? What do you think? What are we starting with?
Let's see. If you could only use one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? Kind of a blunt question.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, I think I know your answer. So I won't.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna go with it. If I had one piece of equipment, you held a gun to my head, and I'm on an island, I'm gonna have a rack with a barbell and some weights, because you could do most everything with it.
But that's more than one piece of equipment, isn't it?
Well, I mean, are we going specific? Is it?
No. I would count that as one.
I would count a squat rack.
A squat rack and a barbell?
Well, I mean,
what are you going to do with just a squat rack?
So as far as equipments and machines go, that Arsenal piece that's on the ground that we have in Franklin?
Yeah.
Would you know what it's called? The multi-use...
was it the multiflex?
Multiflex or whatever. It's where it has the arms. You can lay on the ground, do a press with it. You could do a deadlift with it. You could do rows with it. You could do shrugs with it. You could probably find a way with the handles to do curls with it. So the multiflex or whatever it's called by Arsenal. And if I'm allowed to, I'd have a squat rack with a barbell and some weights. And third option would just be a set of dumbbells that go from a power block that go from 5 to, let's say, 150.
Yeah, that Arsenal multiflex. I'm hoping we're saying it right. Brad and Aaron, hopefully we're saying it right. But hopefully that's a good idea, because not only can you train upper body, you can do floor presses and shrugs and rows. You can also do Bulgarian squats and deadlifts there. It's a lot of things you can do on that piece. So yeah, that's actually a good piece. I thought you was going to say trap bar. That's what I was anticipating. So you can at least deadlift.
Yeah, I'm getting too old for deadlifts anyway. We'll go with just like something to do curls with. Just anything for girls. Who asked that question, by the way? Let's give him a little head.
That was Officer Campbell, 182.
All right. Good old Officer Campbell.
I will say their names before I...
Yeah, you got it. You're just totally misappropriating.
I like how I said that. Now I'm like, I can't read this guy's last name. David Warnicki, 1776. How does food selection change from when you're in off-season as compared to being in prep? Like, do you cut out red meats, oats, etc.?
Well, food selection for me is very vast and convenient when I'm off-season. I'm willing to eat anything. Anything that's prepared, anything's cooked, anything that's convenient. Yeah, I have no rules there. When it comes to prep, depending on where I'm in my prep, we do restrict some of the red meat and the fattier fish like salmon, come towards the end of prep, just for calorie purposes. We just, it's just less calories, per ounce or gram, however you measure it. So it's just an easy adjustment to pull those out and go to chicken or fish. It's just a no-brainer. When we do need the fats, we do need to fill out, we just put it back in. Just when the system looks run down or I'm just looking beat up, we throw some salmon or we throw some beef back in. But we do restrict it as we get deeper into prep. Some people don't, but, it's to each his own. We just do for that purpose alone. It's just a lower calorie protein source.
What about carbs?
Carbs, do we restrict carbs? Or do we cut out any carbs? Or?
Do you change your carb sources?
Typically in prep, we don't change carb sources. But, my carb sources come from all kind of things off season, from cereal to rice to potatoes. Typically, rice and potatoes are the staple for prep. But out of prep, donuts, cereal.
Big donut guy.
Yeah,
donuts are delicious.
Plenty of big old bars, and
I got a Planet Fitness membership just for that, man.
For the donuts?
They don't do donuts anymore. COVID killed the donuts, man.
Pizza, stuff like that.
Pizza is a phenomenal. I mean, think about pizza, though. It's got superfoods in it. It's got tomatoes of lycopene, right?
Yeah.
It's got fats with the cheese. Yeah. It's got carbohydrate with the crust.
You want some protein? You throw some pepperoni on that.
Pepperoni? What is pepperoni? Like, where does pepperoni come from?
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's
a weird one.
Do you know what it's made of? I've never looked it up. Is it beef or sausage? Or?
It's like a type of sausage, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to have like a blend of meats, maybe pork base, I think.
In Italy, they don't have pepperoni. It's just hot salami. Like, that's what they would call it. So
I have a hot salami.
I've had some hot salami in the food version. Sorry.
$20 is $20.
What's that movie? The first time I heard about salami was the cartoon movie Roger Rabbit.
Oh my God, you're dating yourself, bro.
Right.
That was the first time you heard about like salami.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Hot salami.
I'm Italian, so like that was just kind of something that was in the house.
My wife's Italian. She doesn't know what the hell you're talking about right now. She's like, "What's hot salami?" My wife did not know why they give you a spoon with pasta. I'm like, it's to twirl it. It's to twirl it.
So you get a nice little.
I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. You're a fake Italian.
Fake Italian.
Yes. So for me,
calling you out, Katie.
For me, when I used to compete, I usually do better with sweet potatoes because they have the potassium in it. And when I get really lean, I tend to cramp.
Okay.
So the sweet potatoes, when I use those instead of rice, they end up making me less cramp worthy. So I like switching to sweet potatoes.
When I eat a lot of sweet potatoes, when I know I've had too much sweet potatoes, because my poop is turning orange. Like, man, that's just, way too
I would be concerned.
Yeah, that's a doctor question.
Way too many sweet potatoes.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Santosh S 2005. Any exercise variations to build quads without ankle movement? I wear prosthetics. It doesn't allow my ankle movement. Bored by doing leg extensions.
That's only one thing I can think about.
I mean, you're looking at, so he needs another open chain movement. So let me explain open chain, closed chain. Closed chain would be a preferable movement for overall body health, like a squat where you have top and bottom against the ground. An open chain would be where your feet are dangling at the end of a leg extension, which puts more pressure on the joint. As far as no ankle flexion, none at all. Whether you're doing a hack squat, there's going to be some ankle flexion.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
The thing I'm thinking about is the sissy squat setup with the pad behind that's the only one I can really think of where you're sitting back with the sissy squat pad with the rollers goes behind your knees and you sit back.
You're absolutely correct.
That's the only one I can think about. Or you could set up in a smooth machine with your feet, walking your feet out in front of you.
See, I was thinking a split squat and you get your foot out in front of you a little bit more.
But the back ankle is
it's still moving.
Not if you have it hanging off the end. You have your shin resting on the bench instead of the foot.
I mean, how much flexion can he get? Is it completely?
I'm thinking like even prosthetics have a little bit of flexion usually in the ankle. You know, there aren't many that are made now that are just completely one unit. Like they usually have a joint in there, so you can get a little bit.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, high leg press would be one. Very high leg press.
That would be really high.
Yeah, you can avoid. Where you.
But even then, if you're in, that might cause a different issue with a prosthetic. And you're on a leg press, like the pressure on the prosthetic versus.
What's the guy? I can't think of his name. He's so cool from the UK with the prosthetics. I can't think of his name.
Well, I know we got KC
Yeah.
out here. And Derek, I'm forgetting his last name, but Derek, he came to our Real Weights for Real Heroes a while ago.
Okay.
But yeah, there's Derek Carver. Yeah, Carver. So there's a lot of guys. I'd reach out to them.
Yeah.
Because they have straight up fake legs.
Yeah.
So I would reach out to them.
And Flex Wheeler is also another one that's probably good to reach out for, because I know he's still getting back into training, so he's probably having to modify a lot of things too for that reason. But I've seen guys do squats, Smith machine squats with prosthetics. I've seen him use the leg press. I've seen him do leg extensions. I've seen him do pretty much everything, typically you can do in the gym. But it's just sitting back in the hips more or putting the feet farther in front of you so you get reduced ankle flexion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carlos Canisalesk. Sorry if I butchered that.
Damn it.
If I train from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., do I take a shake and a post-workout meal, or just do the shake? I also eat pre-workout meal too.
You want to take a stab at this first? So he eats a pre-workout meal. He trains before bed. Well, I mean,
8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming he goes to bed right after that. Let's assume that.
Yeah, we can assume that. We're assuming things.
Honestly, if I'm going to be optimal for me, I'm going to have a shake after the gym, and then when I get home, I'm going to have a meal. I'm going to have some protein, get me home. Yeah. If that's optimal, but it also depends overall what he ate all day. Like, what are your macros? What are you trying to hit? I do believe in the value of post-workout nutrition, but at the end of the day, that's for like people who are really trying to optimize. But really, if you hit your macro goal for the day, you're in a good spot. But in a perfect world, yeah, I would drink a shake upon finishing or something like that, and then get home or eat even eat a big O bar or something like that. Get home, eat a meal, go to bed.
My take on this, depending on how soon you have to go to bed after training, say if you have to go to bed right after training, really, really soon, then I would make sure my pre-workout meal was pretty substantial, pretty good pre-workout meal, solid food, a lot of calories, a lot of carbs. Then I would train, and then I would have a meal replacement style shake right after training, so I can hit the bed as soon as possible. Sometimes if you're too full, sometimes some people don't go to sleep well on a full belly. Some people go to sleep very well on a full belly. So depending on what kind of person you are, you can get away with it as long as, like Marc said, your calories for the day and everything is good.
All right, we got one more from the gram and then one on the Facebook.
That'll be perfect time too. Yep.
So Ken12375, this is an easy one. We actually answered it earlier. When is the big protein dropping?
Oh, it should hit in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah,
soon.
Very soon.
Very soon, and it's an exciting one.
It's very exciting. It's a new category in protein. Like, we haven't seen a good
big protein. I like how they say
big protein. Big hydro.
But we haven't seen a good pre and post workout protein that actually addressed something. The last one we had was Nitrotech, and that really didn't do any. It was just whey protein isolate and a little bit of ALA and whatever. But this actually addresses something. It has a differentiator, and again, there's a taste for everybody with only 2 flavors. I mean, that's what's really cool. And you guys are going to love it. Everybody needs to try it. And we have it at a good price point where it's not going to like break your bank. It's a really fairly priced for what it does.
You're going to really optimize your protein intake with this one. So if you're looking for optimizing your protein intake, not just your regular protein source, hydrogenate is fast already. And then we optimized it with the Velocitol.
Absolutely. Yes. Made it delicious too.
All right, and then from Facebook, Jed Clark, when cutting weight for a show, what tips do you have to keep your training at a high performance level while in a caloric deficit?
Well, there's a time of day that you're gonna feel the best. So first of all, I would train. I'll make sure I train at the time of day if you can, where you feel like whether that's after 2 meals, whether that's because if you miss that window, then that training window. I know personally I'm going to feel like crap and I'm not going to be able to give it all. But fortunately for us modern day athletes and bodybuilders, we have stimulants.
Yes.
So, you can maybe try some Exalt here.
Stack them.
Stack it with a little bit of expansion.
That way you're not having to put in a lot of extra calories and stuff like that. You can still feel good, still get some good training in. But like I said, you're going to optimize your day. And when you do feel, you have the best training advantage, if you have the freedom to do it, I would train then. And that would be my best bet when it comes to getting the most out of your training in a caloric deficiency.
I'd like to kind of interject something that I've noticed, and maybe you've noticed, and I'd like your opinion after this, is that my strength doesn't suffer until I hit below like 7% body fat. Like not like 8%. So a lot of these people, and I say these people in a very nice way, not like those
What do you
people.
mean these?
What do you mean these
What do
people?
you mean those people?
So a lot of people be like, man, I'm dieting and I'm losing my strength. You look at a picture of them and they're like 22% body fat. So again, I might be insensitive because my mindset is always, if I feel bad, I'm gonna go extra hard and just torture myself because I deserve it for feeling bad, right? So I think people are so conditioned that when you're cutting, you're supposed to lose strength. That mentally they talk themselves into losing strength. Now hear me out. So if you go in, like, have you ever been training with someone who's better than you? And like the other day, I'm in California. I'm at Iron Addicts Gym with Mike Rashid and Sean Torbani and CT Fletcher. And I haven't benched 315 in probably 2 years. So we're on the neutral grip bar and Mike hits 315 for like 3. I got 6 reps after not doing it forever. I couldn't have done that at our gym. So I mentally leveled up to what Mike does because he's a strong dude and I didn't want to look like a bitch. So what I think happens, not every time, is that either people are dieting too hard, they cut their calories too fast, or they think because they're dieting that their training should suffer. So they subconsciously talk themselves into being weaker, even if they're not consciously thinking it. That's just my theory.
So you think it's a mental thing?
It could be some physiological, could be some neurological, but I think for most part, it's completely mental.
I also think getting enough rest is key.
Yeah, getting enough rest is key. Also, when you put your calories in, like your carbs intake, if you get all your carb intakes pre-training, your glycogen stores are full before you train, and then you deplete them. You can rest the rest of the day. But if your carbs are rearranged in a different way to where you're going into a training session still not full of glycogen, still kind of flat, you're gonna feel that. And from my experience, when I start cutting, I actually do get stronger. I get stronger for a certain period of time, and my performance goes up for a certain period of time. And then I guess once I get a certain, like you said, body fat percentage is really low, then I'm really starting to feel it. But that's a lot of times a reflection of how low my carbohydrate intake is, as well as a result of trying to get the body fat down real low. Yeah. So a lot of times also cardio, if you're doing a lot of cardio, that can affect your training as well in the gym. So if your cardio is really, really high and then you're trying to train as well, you can really get that crossover fatigue from the cardio when you're really in the dieting phase. So you may have to arrange some things to kind of optimize your training, whether that's doing your cardio post training and not doing the morning cardio that's going to beat you up for your training. So you have to optimize, whatever variables you can to make sure you get maximizing your training, whether that's nutrition, whether that's rearranging your cardio, or whether that's structuring what time of day you're actually in the gym where you feel the best.
There's so many things I can expand on there. For example, cardio. And that's why a lot of bodybuilders do low intensity cardio. Like, why are they just walking? Because you train so hard that if you were to add sprints into the picture, that it would deplete you so much, it would affect your training. And weight training is the single most important variable for muscle growth and for lean body mass. So there's number one, is that you got to choose the right kind of cardio. And another thing we touched on before is carbohydrate. You don't see professional bodybuilders, for the most part, doing low carbohydrate ketogenic diets because it does affect your training 100%. It's been demonstrated in data. Now, I don't say proven. It's been overwhelmingly demonstrated that if you cut your carbs, your performance will be lower than if you didn't cut your carbs. Now, obviously, as you get leaner, you have to scale carbs back because you have to keep adequate protein, adequate fat. You have to scale carbs back. But, incidentally and completely related, you're dropping your carbs. As your performance is dropping, it's all correlated. So my opinion would be, if you're training your ass off in the gym, you probably shouldn't do wind sprints for cardio. And another thing is, if you are interested in keeping as much muscle and strength as possible while dieting, you should include carbohydrates in your diet.
Excellent advice.
Well, there you go. It's approved. There you go. It's been
as long as possible.
Yes. I think the phrase is keep cardio as low as possible and carbohydrate as high as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah.
That's the goal while making.
And if that isn't an option, scheduling your workout to where you feel most optimal during the day.
Or we could just add in more drugs. I mean,
more drugs.
Circadian rhythms, buddy.
Circadian rhythms and Anavar, man.
Make sure you're pretty good.
Anavar, what are we, teenagers or women? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Damn it, Matt. Anyway, that's about as far we're going to get in that topic ever on this podcast. I'm like, people ask me questions on like my story, and they're like, hey, man, should I take blank and blank? And I'm like, I've never heard of that. They're taking stuff I've never heard of. I'm like, I would love to give you, hey, do you know what GWR 1487 is? I'm like, is that
a
like
new star that they discovered somewhere?
Is that a California penal code for something? Like, is that like 187?
Like what's the nickname? You got a nickname to that?
I'm like, what is
drugs?
I don't like. They will ask me these questions. I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm putting you off. Like, I'd love to help you, but I have no idea what that does. You're gonna have to Google that. Like, I don't know what that does, what it is, what it's doing, and it's really funny because, like, touching on the SARMs issue, I know I'm getting off topic here, but like, I was reading some stuff on like SARMs, and that's what Boston Loy's kidney. He said it was from a SARM, and the data was only on rodents and birds or something, right? And it caused these animals to have kidney failure. But Boston's like, it sounds fine for humans. So I was reading about another peptide that's for sale. I saw it. I'm like, I'm going to read what this does.
Oh, is this one you sent me?
I don't know if it was. And I'm like, it's not HCG, which supposedly makes your penis bigger.
Okay, that's
if
one
you
I
have a
micro.
So HCG, I know I'm totally off track, but I sent Matt a study. I was doing some research for I'm looking at doing a test booster. And I was looking at research, and I looked at HCG and its mechanisms of action. I came across a study where people with micro penises, so micro penises are really, really tiny penises.
Like a button in a fur
coat.
Yeah.
And it actually caused like a 3/4 inch growth. For them, it's like tripling their penis size.
Now imagine that plus the new X.
Well, I don't know the function of the new X in penis. So
you're gonna have to let us know.
I haven't got that far.
That's your warm up. But so long story short, so I was reading up on this SARM that's readily available on every SARM site, and the only data has been in rodents, and that kind of scares me when there's no human data.
Well, that's the thing with all of them. That's not human data on any of them.
There's plenty of data on every steroid. Like, except for probably Tren. But I mean, look at Anavar, Anadrol, Debol. There's studies galore on humans. And DECA has more studies than you can read in a week. I've looked at them. There's so many studies on testosterone, on TRT, on HGH. But these SARMs, which are the healthier alternative, there's no human data on any of them. And the ones that had human data were patented by pharmaceutical companies, and then they dropped it for whatever reason. We don't know if they dropped it for health. We don't know what they dropped it for. Now, I'm not saying SARMs are bad. And also the study dose in a lot of them were like 3 milligrams. And the recommended dose on these products are like 30 milligrams. So there's dose and duration. We were talking about that today with Dr. Ross over at Carbon in Franklin. And you could die by drinking too much water. Everything is deadly if you overconsume it. Right. So nobody even knows what these things are doing. So onto the point, like everybody's throwing shade at Boston, but he's not doing anything too different than what everybody else is doing. Right. I mean, he's just more extreme. He's a great kid. I love Boston. I really do. I think he's a nice kid. He's just a little bit crazy, but we're all a little bit crazy. He's just a little bit crazier. Yeah. He's always been great. Always been great. I love the kid. And I wish him the best, but he has stage 5 kidney failure. So, and that's the point where you need dialysis or a transplant. Right. So just saying, kids, just because it's for sale by your bro, like, just be careful.
Yeah, just because it's the hottest thing on the market, and the hottest thing everybody's talking about, just wait. It's kind of like the vaccine, So.
Oh no, that's another. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, it's fine. I'm not getting it. And everybody's like, why wouldn't you? I'm like, why don't you get it? Well, because it doesn't work if I get it and you don't get it. I'm like, nobody ever told me that about the flu shot. I'm like, why is this all of a sudden a thing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, this is my favorite. My favorite is like, and I said this, it's like, well, my mask protects you and your mask protects me. I'm like, I don't care about you. I'm like, what in what world is that? And now they're saying, nope, but you got to wear 2 masks.
Well, no, he went back on that because I
he
just read
did.
the other day. He said 1 mask is good enough.
It's like 2 condoms.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. 2 condoms.
I use duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. It's porous. Sometimes I can't make it till the duct tape's on. It happens while I'm putting it on.
Oh, taking it off. That's what.
I didn't even think about that. I can just imagine like the whole, if somebody like kidnapped me and they like, oh my God. Yeah, it's the 2 mask thing was crazy, and now they had another one. If 2 masks is good, what if we wore 3? I'm like, why not 15? Yeah. Why not 17?
Just don't breathe. How about that?
We're a little okay, guys. I know that we have a lot of people watching this from like California, New York. Tennessee's a little bit different. Like Tennessee, Florida, Texas, and we don't I'll go to California. I was just there last week. I fit in. I did when I put on a mask but Tennessee, we're a bit more laid back. I'm sure everybody already had it twice. The South is just different, you know?
Yeah. They're like, if we die, we die, you know?
But it's like Drago.
except to ourselves.
My wife, we pull up to Kroger's. We go grocery store shopping yesterday, right? We both hop out the car. I look at her. We're walking in. I said, you got your mask? She's like, oh, no. She's like, freaking out. I don't got my mask. I'm like, just don't worry about us going here. We go in. And she's like, yeah. She's like, there's people in here without masks. I feel good now. I'm like, yeah, see? You don't have to wear masks.
You know what's funny? When they were like in Florida, they're like, can you believe they're not wearing masks in Florida? I'm like, they wrestle fucking alligators in Florida. Like, have you ever been, like, remember we were reading what Florida man does, blank. Florida people are crazy.
Florida is a different place. It's a different place.
Florida people are out of their mind. You expect them to wear masks? Like, come on, dude. Half of Florida, like, people think Miami Beach, it's the bayou, bro. It's like Mississippi with a better suntan, you know?
It's like when they do the scenario, where did this happen? Or they show a picture. Where is this?
Florida.
If you guess Florida, you're normally right.
Yeah, I never thought, this is the first time in my life, though, thankfully COVID, that I actually realized South Dakota has people living there. Everybody's like, they didn't shut down. I'm like, is there anybody there? I'm like, it only counts. There's only 4 people in South Dakota.
They're already social distancing there. So
yeah.
So I think, are we good? I think we got all the answers.
Those are all the questions.
All right. Well,
those are all we got.
Brandon, thanks for being on.
Hey, no problem.
This has been fun, and a lot of cool things coming out. Keep an eye out for, of course, the new products and everything we have going on here. And anything you want to kind of close with?
No, guys. Like I said, look out for more stuff from us. I'm home, and getting busy, trying to get back in the groove of training, and we're making the game plan about how we're going to take the Olympia title again this year, plus maybe the Arnold.
And of course, you come see everybody May 8th. We have the Rumble in the Boro. Link it down below. Rumble in the Boro is going to be our charity boxing event. We have a main event with Kenny K over his big boy Cannon. Mike Rasheed's going to be there. Jay Cutler's confirmed. We got, we have a list of people confirmed.
Do you want me to pull up the list?
Do you want to pull up the list?
Pull up the list.
All right.
I need some updates.
It's a big list.
I'll read it because some of them aren't confirmed. So, okay, you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, we got Mike Rasheed, Chris Jones, Sean Roden. Flex Lewis will be there. We will have, 4 Mr. Olympias?
4 Olympia champions.
Ryan Buckeye, John Meadows, Bounty Tank, Cellucor will be there. Arsenal Strength, of course. We got, Jay Cutler, I already said. Chris Gethin will be there, and the list keeps expanding.
Yeah, all that carbon, and yes, me and Mike Rasheed we won't be going head to head, even though we're on the poster. We're not going head to head,
bro.
The ground would shake.
Well, I'm not a boxer, so I'd cheat.
You better just take out his legs.
I cheat,
I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't even cheat. I wouldn't even fight Mike if I had a gun. Like, seriously, nah. He hits you once. Nope. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.